Hey there, everyone. I'm your teacher. We didn't meet on Wednesday because ESAT was closed due to a water main break, as you probably know. But we missed class, and we also didn't have class on Monday because it was a holiday. So we're a little behind, and we need to catch up. That's why I'm doing this video. I thought first I would give a little video on the syllabus so we wouldn't have to repeat that on Monday. That'll save some time. I'm not going to go over every word of the syllabus. You can read through it. I'll just hit some points that I think are important for us to kind of just consider. And I'm also going to do another video, I believe, on paragraphs, paragraph structure, particularly body paragraphs, but I think I'll make a separate video for that one. So please watch both videos so we'll be ready to go when we get to class on Monday. So let's just jump into this syllabus here. You can see again, there's my name. You pronounce that sorry, like I'm sorry, Mr. Sorry. Okay, that joke's out of the way, right? There's my office location. It's in the ESCT building 2210A. Now there is a 2210, which is a classroom. This is 2210A. It's on the east side, second floor. And I've got office hours posted down below. So let's go ahead and go down to the office hours for a minute. You can see my Monday and Wednesday office hours. They're happening before our class begins. So you're definitely welcome to drop in at that time to see me. It might be good if you let me know. So in case I were busy with another meeting or other students or have some other activity, I can let you know. Also, you can see my hours on Tuesday and Thursday. And on Friday, I've got club meetings. I'm the photography club sponsor and the poetry club sponsor. So if you'd like to join those clubs, let me know. We have a lot of fun, particularly photography club. We do a lot of field trips. And, you know, you don't have to have fancy equipment to join. Your phone is fine. Probably a majority of the students just use their phone. But we also have some students with some fancy equipment. And I've got a lot of experience, and our club president has a lot of experience with this equipment. And we often talk about principles of photography, how to use your gear if you do get some fancy stuff. And plus, we have a couple of cameras you can check out and use that are, you know, pretty good digital cameras that you can use. So, and then we go on these field trips, and, you know, yeah, we want to do photography, which we do on the field trips. We go to like downtown Dallas, downtown Fort Worth, stockyards, museums, Dinosaur State Park, Cleburne State Park, Mineral Wells State Park. And we try to do a variety of types of settings. So photography is important on these trips, but it's mostly to have fun with each other, which we do. So you might enjoy it. The photography club will be meeting on Fridays at noon for 1 hour every Friday. Poetry club will be meeting at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in either one of those, please let me know. Now let's go back up and take care of a couple things. Office telephone. It's a mess right now. I don't have a telephone in my office. You know, with all the construction going on, they had us move offices. Some of us, most of us, in fact, have had to move their offices. And I haven't gotten my telephone into my new office. I'm sharing this office with another professor. In fact, I don't even have a nameplate on the office yet. I've been trying to arrange to do that. I think they're going to give me my old number because you can still leave messages on it, but I don't have access to the phone, which is locked away in my old office, and they took my key. So I will give you my old number. I'm not able to write. I think I'm using here. I might be able to write. I've got a pen. Let me see. Yeah, let me try this. Let me see what I can do. And I'll see if I can write the number on here. Yeah, there's my pen. Let's check this out. So over here on the left side, I hope you can see that. Okay, highlight, underline. I don't want to underline. I guess that doesn't let me write. I know somewhere let's try this one where there's a pen symbol. Now that's my signature. I don't see the pen symbol that lets me. I'm going to click All Tools. Some of you probably know how to do this. If I were in Adobe Acrobat, I could do it. But I'm not in Adobe Acrobat. Anyway, let's not waste time with this. Let me just tell you the number, and I'll add it to the syllabus when I confirm that my old number works. But it's 817, area code, 515-3347. That's 515-3347. And you can leave a message. What happens is they're converting the messages to Outlook, and I can pick up the recording in Outlook. And so if you need to leave me a telephone message, go ahead and do that. Now, probably the best thing to do is use email. Now, you can see there's my email address. And they want you to use the same address if you're sending me an email. As you know, this gets ported to my Outlook. Now, there were a lot of problems in the middle of last semester when they closed down Gmail. This used to be associated with the Gmail account. And suddenly we weren't getting emails from students. But it seems to be working now. So if you want to send me an email, try that. Another thing which works really well is Canvas. Canvas has inbox. You can see there in the third line under email. Most of you are probably aware of that. You can use inbox to send me an email as well. I don't really like inbox that much. It's kind of clunky, but it works. So either one, I'll be checking both every day. And you can get in touch with me that way. Now, they do not want you to use your personal email, your Gmail, Hotmail, whatever kind of mail. It's for privacy reasons, having to do with federal law, FERPA. Maybe you've heard of the FERPA law, and legal and privacy reasons. So they tell us not to answer students if they use their outside email, their personal email. So please use the regular your my.tcc.edu address when you email me. Okay, let's go down. Well, before we go on, I just want to tell you guys, I'm on your side. I want you to pass this class. This is a requirement. You want to get it done with and move on. So I'm more than happy to try to help you with any problems you're having. So if there's something going on in the course that is keeping you back, interfering with what you think you need to do, you need to talk to me. There's no negative repercussions. If you have a complaint, my wife complains to me all the time. Don't worry about it. I'm used to it. You got to get used to my wife jokes too in class. But yes, if you're having an issue, let me know. I'm the first person you should talk to because I will try to help you. And as I said previously here, there's never any negative repercussion, no negative impact on your grade whatsoever. It's fine. Just come and let me know if there's something that you need to talk to me about. I'm always happy to work with you. Now, let's go to the English department and the Dean's office, Liberal Arts Division. I don't know how long those offices are going to be there. As I said, with all this construction going on, they're moving people around. Originally, these two offices were supposed to be moved out already, but they decided to let them stay to approximately spring break. And I wouldn't be surprised if that slips to the end of the semester. So they might be there all semester long. The construction schedules are often kind of fluid, and in this case, they're a little fluid. But if you need to talk to the department chair, English department, that's Kirk Adams. You can see the number. It's in the main building, the C wing, and then Jerry Coates, the dean. He's in the E wing of the main building. But again, if you're having problems, talk to me first, because believe me, I want to help you with your problems. Let's keep going. This is a composition class, right? So most of our grade is going to be focused on composition and composition issues. Let's just touch on a few of these student learning outcomes. Probably in high school, or maybe even another college class, you've talked about pre-writing, brainstorming, all this kind of stuff. Yes, we will talk about it a little bit again because it's important. The writing process, if you wait till the last minute to write your paper and haven't thought about it, haven't worked on it, and I get students who do that all the time, it usually shows. In fact, it almost always shows in a negative way. So we'll talk about the writing process again if you've already talked about it before. Number two, we'll work on thesis statements, particularly for our first essay. A thesis is the main point you're trying to show in your essay. And a lot of students, they don't know what their main point is, or they don't know how to express it clearly so your reader knows. And we need to work on both of those issues. Let's go to number three. Coherence, logical organization. These are very important in an essay, the overall essay, but more specifically in individual paragraphs, body paragraphs. And we're going to dive right into that. I mentioned I'm going to probably make a video before Monday talking about that a little bit. And it's going to be regarding body paragraphs, 4 qualities of a good body paragraph. And I put a lot of emphasis on that. And so before our first essay, we want to look at good examples, bad examples, etc. And we're going to start that discussion when I do this video. So be prepared for that. Please watch it. In fact, it's required you watch it ahead of time so we can move forward. Let's go to number 6. Students, college students these days, are not that good on vocabulary, or at least the vocabulary they should be able to handle. There's a lot of reasons for this, having to do with K through 12 education in one way. They don't, K through 12, they don't demand high enough standards. They don't make students read enough, and reading is one of the best ways to absorb and get comfortable with new vocabulary. So that's an issue. Also, it's just the culture itself. Everyone's now on their screens, their phones, their computers, tablets, whatever. They're doing social media hours a day. Many of you are. And that interferes with reading good stuff where you're getting vocabulary. So there's actually a lot of reasons. And it's not just community college students. It's true at four-year colleges and even graduate schools. So a lot of stuff we're going to read, and we're going to be having a little reading assignment probably at pretty much every class. We're going to have something for Monday. I've already put it in as an announcement. That's Orwell's a story, A Hanging. Now be sure you know any vocabulary in there. There's not a lot, but there's maybe some you're not familiar with. And as we go forward, there's going to be a lot of stories with vocabulary. I'll be giving you some pop-up vocabulary quizzes in classes. I want you to be ready for that, and I want you to do well on them. And that means you need to get out that phone, that wonderful, wonderful phone, which is a very powerful computer, as you know, and use it to look up stuff. So please do, so you get good grades on those vocabulary quizzes. And we'll talk vocabulary from time to time. Also, it's mentioned sentence skills here. We're talking grammar. Yeah, we're going to be doing a little of that probably every class. Things like comma splices. Now, some of you may not know what comma splices are. I don't want to go into it now because it'll take too much time, but we'll be going into it soon, starting next week probably. And it's a really big sentence error when you don't get it right, and people notice it. And so just like with vocabulary, students are lacking these days in a lot of their fundamental sentence skills that they should be able to master, particularly by the time they're freshmen in college. So that's something we're going to work on as well. Now, number 7 talks about the research paper. Yes, we're going to do a research paper. It's not going to be a long paper, 3 to 5 pages. You're not going to have a ton of sources, maybe 4, and I'll have a lot more to say about this. And it won't be due until near the end of the semester, near the end, in April. And of course, when we do a research paper, we have to learn how to integrate this outside source material to do it properly. And in order to do that, we're going to have to learn about MLA, which is a style of documentation to tell where you got your source material from. And many of you are familiar with this in high school. And if you're not familiar or forgotten, don't worry, we're going to start from the ground up, and we're going to have a lot of weeks to work on this. We'll probably have the better part of 2 months to work on research paper stuff while we're doing other things as well. not just research paper, but we'll be working on that bit by bit. And so we'll start with MLA from the ground up. I don't think you're going to have that much trouble mastering it. I want us to be able to use it in a reasonable way, not just approximately. So, yeah, that's something we're going to be doing, and it's the biggest grade of the semester. I think it's about 25%. So we really want to get this research paper right. Again, I'm kind of going through this fast. You can read more of this. Let me keep going here. You know, one of the things on the research paper, before I leave that, is getting the quotes and paraphrases smoothly into the paper in a grammatically smooth way. Students have a lot of trouble with that. We're actually going to be, with the Orwell stories we're reading, we're going to write an essay on Orwell. That's going to be our first essay. And that's something we'll be working on as we go. Anyway, I'll touch on that later probably. Let's go to books. I'm sure many of you were disappointed that you don't get to spend $100 on books. Yeah, right. No, we don't need it. I'm going to be giving you the material you need, or we'll look on the internet and find it there. And that includes MLA stuff, so I'll have more to say on that later. Now, going down to Canvas, that note on the screen on Canvas, you need to check Canvas between every class, because I will make announcements about homework, about quizzes, about assignments, and you need to be aware of what you need for the following class. So be sure you check those announcements. You got no excuse for missing a quiz because you didn't check the announcements. Read them carefully. Let's go to the grading policy. You can see there are 6 essays. Essay 1, as I said, that's 7% of your grade. That's going to be on Orwell. We're going to do 3 Orwell stories. The first one, again, is a hanging. Hopefully, all of you will be prepared on that when we meet on Monday. And you can read through the rest. There's that research paper, Essay 5, 24%. Now, you'll also notice on there reading and MLA quizzes. Just like you're having to do a quiz on the Orwell essay, A Hanging, we're going to be doing quizzes on pretty much every class as well, corresponding to our readings or for our study of MLA. And that's 23%. And you've probably done the Orwell essay already, hopefully. And you can see it's like true or false, 10 questions. It's not that bad. If you've read the story, you can probably do it in 2 minutes, maybe even less. And you can have the story open in one tab and have the quiz open in another tab. And so you can go right down. You should be able to get 100 on most of these quizzes. And that'll really help your grade. On the other hand, if you blow off these quizzes, yeah, that can create issues. Bring down your grade type of issues. And I've had students who dropped out because they just blew off the quizzes, even though I counseled them, come on, start doing the quizzes. And their grades really went down. And so right after mid-semester, and they realized what was going on, and when they started paying attention, they said, wait a minute, this is not good. And I've had a couple students drop out just because they didn't really pay much attention to the quizzes. So please, they can bring your grade up because they're not that hard, but they can bring your grade down if you don't, take them seriously. Now, underneath the little table there's a little note in capital letters. Please remember that you have to complete all 6 essays in order to pass the class. Yes, so even if you didn't turn in essay 1 and you turned in all the others and you had a passing average, you'll fail if I don't have essay 1. Every essay has to be turned in. So keep that in mind. Now, of course, that means I have to take your late papers. Some of you will probably be late on essay 1. I hope not, keeping my fingers crossed. But at some point, you have to turn it in. I've had students who never turn in essay 1 till almost the end of the semester, and other students, because the end of the semester gets busy, as some of you know, finals and other classes, class projects, all kinds of stuff. And they just can't go back and pull it together to write that first essay. So I'm not doing you any favor by letting you be late. So I'm really hoping all of you will turn them in. Now, it says down below that I'll penalize late papers. You can see in that paragraph there. 1 letter grade if it isn't turned in by the due date, and then an additional letter grade for each week the paper is late. Boy, I'll tell you what, sometimes that'll bring a student's essay grade down to 0. Now, sometimes I haven't enforced that because I hate bringing students' grades down. They're low enough sometimes already. and I want you to pass, I meant that when I said it. I'll decide. I'll see what happens. But if you are having trouble getting started on a paper, let me know. I'll work with you. If you got the flu, you can't meet the deadline. If you're sick or some other issue, you totaled your car. I've had that happen to students before. Houses burned down, being kicked out of the house by the parents. So there's some family issues there. All these things, I know. I'm a person too. I'm a human being. I know this can be really bad. So, I will work with you, but communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. Also, when that first paper or any other paper is due and you're not done, come to class anyway. I'm not going to call you out. I'm not going to embarrass you. And there's no reason not to be in class. You'll miss stuff. I don't want you to miss stuff. So come to class, even if you're not done with that paper, and you can talk to me privately later about it. It's okay. So yeah, come to class. Again, I'm kind of skipping around here. Let me go down to the quizzes again. Let's just talk briefly about it. I will drop, in fact, I've set up Canvas already to drop the 2 worst quiz grades. So if you miss 2 quizzes, those 2 zeros are not going to be factored into your quiz average, which is good. Or if you got a 10 or a 30 or whatever. Now, sometimes students have trouble, technical problems, computer problems, other problems with quizzes. And I will reopen them most of the time if you give me a valid reason why I should. Don't just blow the quiz off and later say, "Hey, open the quiz for me." That's not good. If I have, it's kind of a headache for me to reopen these quizzes. So don't take advantage of that. Really have a reason why you didn't take the quiz, and then I will open it for you. But again, if I have 20 students every day wanting to retake a quiz and I have to go through and deal with 20 students a day, that's a time sink. I don't have time as it is to do the things I need to do. So, but yeah, if any of you missed the Orwell quiz, you screwed up, you didn't click the submit button or at the right time and you submitted a blank quiz, I've had all these things happen. Let me know. I'll reopen it for you this time in particular. Extra credit. Yes, you can get up to 4 extra points of credit to be added onto your final numerical average, which is really good. So if you have, let's say, an 86, I think this is an example in the paragraph, and you get 4 points extra credit, that's going to give you a 90. Now at TCC, there are no pluses and minuses on the final grade report. So a 90 is an A, just like a 95 is an A, and that's what will appear on your transcript. So, yeah, that 4 points can be really helpful. Or if you've got a 67, let's say, which is a D, which is basically failing the class, you get 4 points, you're going to have a 71, and you're going to have a passing grade, a C. So, yeah, you'll probably want to get this extra credit. Now, how do you do that? Well, in the paragraph, it talks about it a little bit. Be prepared, do the reading. You can see that's in the first sentence there. Speak up in class discussions. Do that. Yeah, participate. Show me that you have knowledge or opinions and you're ready to share them. Now, some of the homework assignments we do on some of the sentence skills, like I mentioned earlier, comma splices, they're not going to be graded, but we'll discuss the answers. But I want you to try the questions ahead of time. Do those assignments. Bring them to class. Take part in the discussion. We'll also be having discussion boards, the forums they call them, whatever it is. In Canvas, it's called just discussions. Do those discussions. Don't blow them off. Because I look at them, and we'll be going over many of them in class and reading student answers. And another thing is going to the Writing Center for tutoring help. Some of you may not know about the Writing Center. They will give you one-on-one tutoring, 30 minutes at a time, and you can make an appointment online. You can actually do the tutoring session online, or you can go in person to the office. The office is over in the main building now. Again, because of construction, who knows when they'll be moving. They were told they were going to have to move already, but because the construction deadline slipped or whatever, they're still in the main building. We're going to go over there for an orientation. I've got to set that up. I haven't set it up yet. So I'm going to be going over there this coming week to make a reservation. So you can go over and get a sense of what goes on there. They'll talk to you about it, and I think you'll be very comfortable using it. And they automatically send me an email saying so-and-so came to the Writing Center and had a session. And that counts toward your extra credit. So when you do write an essay on Orwell, which we're going to be doing, you can go to the Writing Center to get some extra help. Okay, but in any case, all those things add up to extra credit. Keep that in mind. Oh, we better talk about plagiarism. Okay, that's a big issue in today's world for a variety of reasons. Let me just read some of this. So after plagiarism, it says, plagiarism is cheating, and it is. No ifs, ands, or maybes. It is using the exact words or even just the ideas of others in a way such that a reader cannot distinguish them from your own writing. Even if you put someone else's ideas into your own words, it's still considered plagiarism if you don't tell your reader that the ideas belong to someone else. In addition, plagiarism includes taking exact words or ideas from any website without telling your reader that you took these ideas or words from this website. Just because something is on the web doesn't mean you can use it without telling your reader where you got it from. A reader must be able to distinguish your words and ideas from the words and ideas of others at all times. There's no middle ground. Anything else is cheating and dishonest. For example, if you take anything at all from a site like eNotes.com or Wikipedia or 123help.me or SparkNotes, GradeSaver, or whatever they are, they change their names from time to time. And you can find a lot of stuff on Orwell and on these essays we're reading at these sites. Some of the material they got is pretty good. But you have to tell me when you take something, even if you don't use exact words. If you use your own words 100%, but you took the idea from the website, you must tell me. Most of you know this already. I don't want to hear when I catch you for plagiarism, well, I use my own words. No, you know, I'm telling you now, if you didn't know, that that's plagiarism. If you copied the ideas and you didn't tell your reader. And of course, using the exact words is also plagiarism. So it says there, if you take from this site, you must tell me using the MLA format for documentation. And just so let me put my mouse on it, that's where I'm at. Anything means exactly that, anything. If you plagiarize, you will receive a 0 on your essay, and you won't have the opportunity to rewrite it. Now, that's TCC policy. That's not my policy, that's the policy of the school. Now, back when I was a college student, that was a long time ago, you've probably guessed, they would expel you from school. So it's a lot softer than it used to be. Now, in addition to giving you a 0 and not having an opportunity to rewrite the essay, I'm supposed to send a note to the student conduct officer. They'll put a permanent note in your file, which is not nice, and they might call you in for a stern talking to. So you don't want to go there. You know, that research paper is due near the end of the semester. What happens if you plagiarize and I catch you? You get a 0. How much is that worth? 24%? Are you going to pass the class after getting a 0 on that? And you sat in class all semester and you're just about done? You've got a couple weeks to go? No, you don't want to fail at that point. So don't plagiarize. Look, you know, if you put on a double shift at work, you don't have time, what should you do? Talk to me. I'll help you. We'll work something out. If you're sick, if you have a family situation, or something else that makes it impossible for you to meet the deadline for the paper, what should you do? Plagiarize? No. Talk to me. We'll work it out. I want you to pass. We'll find a way to get you through. So that's not an excuse for plagiarism. Don't go there. Don't take a chance. Now, I'll keep reading there. Depending on your class average, you may not pass the course if you plagiarize. If you have a question about plagiarism, please ask me before you turn in your paper. Yeah, if there's something on your paper, you can say, wow, is this plagiarism or not? Come and talk to me. I'll give you my opinion. And it's no problem if you haven't turned in the paper yet. Okay? Now, it's easy for students to plagiarize because there's so much on the internet, that we didn't have that resource when I was in school. But teachers have that resource too. and they use it. Plus, some of you may have heard of Turnitin. Maybe your teacher in high school used the Turnitin website. Canvas forwards. I have Canvas set up to forward your essay when you turn it in to turn it in, and that's a plagiarism checker. They've got millions and millions. They've been around 25 years, something like that. They have millions and millions of, literally tens of millions of essays in their databases. And they compare your essay to all of those millions, again, literally tens of millions, and look for matches. So if someone else has used a certain set of words and you use that certain set of words in a sentence or a paragraph and there's a match, OMG. How did you both get that same sentence or a group of sentences? Now, if it's a quote from somebody like Orwell and you got it in quotation marks and says Orwell says such and they've got the same thing, yeah, it'll show me the match, but I'll know you're not plagiarizing, you're just quoting Orwell like the other paper did, or the other 50 papers or 100 or 1,000 papers did, because they got them all. They also go to a lot of those websites that we mentioned, and they track what's said on those sites, and they suck that stuff into their databases. And so, yeah. Now, these days, Turnitin also gives an AI score. And now we're talking about ChatGPT and Grammarly and different AIs that are out there. And we get more of them all the time, and they're getting better all the time. But I know some teachers allow students to use that stuff. I don't. It's cheating. I don't want to read what an AI says. I want to read your work, your writing. I want your grammar errors. I want everything that's you. I don't want an algorithm. I can go to ChatGPT myself. I've gone many times to play around with it. Let's read this. Do not use ChatGPT or any other AI for writing your essays or anything else for class. This restriction includes Grammarly, Google Translate, Bard, or any other AI bot. I think there's a new one out. Google has one. Is it called Copilot? Is that them? I don't know. I don't pay attention too much to all the different proliferations of them. While these AIs can be useful in many contexts, I want to see your work, your writing exclusively. Using these AIs amounts to academic dishonesty and is a form of plagiarism. If I detect your use of any of these AIs in your writing, you will get a 0 on the assignment, just as if you had committed traditional plagiarism. In this class, there is no middle ground. Even partial use of an AI will result in a 0 on your paper. Partial use. Please note that these AIs often get facts and details wrong. Sometimes they make up quotes on characters and stories and poems. Now, this has happened a whole lot of times in my classes. Students use the AI. Let's say, like in Comp 2, we're writing about literature, and we do the play A Doll's House, which is a very famous play. I've had students turn in papers, and the AI has made up characters that are not in the play and made up dialogue that's not in the play. And sometimes when students use AI to write on some poems we do in Comp 2, the AI makes up lines that are not in the poem. I've got all this stuff memorized. I know if something's not in there and they use it. That's a pretty strong clue. Plus, as I mentioned, all the grammar errors that students typically make, sentence skills kind of things, and suddenly they give me this paper with sophisticated vocabulary that the student doesn't know, and I know they don't know. And there's no grammar errors at all. And then the student doesn't even know what the paper's about. They just turn it in after copying it into their essay. They don't know what their thesis is. They don't know anything about it. It's just, okay, they got the AI to write it. That's cheating. That's total cheating. And you'll get a 0 if I catch it. And there's also other characteristics of AI writing that they have, which kind of makes it much easier to detect than students realize. Now, of course, these AIs are getting better all the time. And I guess eventually they'll probably get to where they're just about perfect. And then what are we going to do? The world will go to somewhere. Uh-oh, something happened there. Let me get back to the syllabus. Yeah, maybe it's my cat. I've got one of our cats is asleep here on the bed, on the desk next to me. And every now and then he wiggles his foot around. He's actually a pretty good cat. In any case, Yeah, don't take a chance. Now, even if you're an ESL, English as a second language learner, okay, you're going to make grammar errors. I used to teach ESL when I first got out of graduate school. I went overseas. I was in Iran. I taught in China. And so I know about ESL students. I know some of the issues they have, but they can still pass this class, even if there's grammar errors. Don't fix your writing. I want to see what you've got. You can still construct a decent paragraph, even if there's a lot of grammar errors in it. You can. I know you can. I've been there. I've seen you do it, or students like you do it. So if you're a second language learner, just give me your best. That's all I ask for. And you can still pass this class. Okay? And of course, native speakers of English, they make lots of grammar errors, as I mentioned previously. That's all I'm asking. Just give me your best, not the computer's best. Okay? So I hope you got the message here. I kind of went on a rant a little bit. But I think it's important that we, make this clear here at the beginning. Okay, as I say there at the end of that paragraph, you are much more talented than any machine or any algorithm. You definitely are. You may not think so, but you are. You're smarter than the machine. So show me what you got, not what the machine has. Okay. You can see right under that, there's a note about short exercises concerning thesis creation, paragraph development, blah, 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 etc. I already mentioned you won't get grades on some of these, so just do them. They count toward your extra credit. Again, I'm not going to read every paragraph, every word. We already talked about email. Let's see here. Keep up with the reading assignments. And when you use Canvas, I'm going to go back up a paragraph. Don't forget, it says in bold, when you use Canvas to hand in your papers, it's your responsibility to make sure the papers are posted by the deadline. Note that turning it in Canvas, put a timestamp on your file. And if your computer or internet provider is having technical problems, then email me with an attachment of your essay before the deadline. You should not use computer problems as an excuse for a late paper. Now let's go down to the attendance policy. Some of you, this may be your first semester at TCC. Every teacher is required to put this information in their syllabus every class. And basically, I'll just summarize. If you're absent 15% and have a failing average, your teacher can drop you without your permission. Now, it says can, it doesn't say must. So the teacher doesn't have to drop you. And typically, I do not drop the students. If you want to drop the class because things are not going the way you expect, your semester's going bad, and all of us have bad semesters. Yeah, it just happens. Life happens, right? We all know that. Well, then you have to take the responsibility yourself to drop the class. Now, you have until what's called the drop deadline, April 11th this semester. Until that time, you can drop any easily. Just go on the computer and do it. I'm not going to drop you. But after that deadline, you can't drop yourself, and I can't drop you either. Only the dean can drop you. And they don't like to drop you after the deadline. They really don't. And you might have to beg the dean and come up with all kinds of reasons. And even then they might say no. Okay? Depends on what you got to say. So keep that drop deadline, April 11th, in mind. All right? Okay. Don't be late to class. Now, I tell my students, unfortunately, our current system for keeping track of attendance in Canvas, it's called Quickly Attendance. It doesn't have a column for lateness. We used to have that but about a year ago they switched to this Quickly app, and there's no place for lateness, so I can't mark you late officially. I mean, I do mark you late if you come in late, but I can't do anything with it really, unless like I made a formula like 3 lates equal 1 absence, and I haven't done that yet. Don't abuse that. Just come to class on time. Now, however, as it says there in bold, if you are late, quietly come into the classroom, don't remain outside, and after class, be sure to remind me that I should change your status on the roll from absent to late. I'll mark you late, but again, it doesn't get officially marked that way. Even if you're, 50 minutes late, it's better to come in for the last 30 minutes of class than to stay outside and miss it. So just come on in, okay? Now, if you have a situation where you're going to be late repeatedly, let's say a work situation, a family care situation, just let me know. If it's not too terrible, we can work around it. But it'd be good to know. Now, remaining in class, don't leave the class. I mean, yeah, you need to use the restroom. Just go. You don't need to ask permission. But don't go out to do social media or to make a phone call or take a phone call. That's rude to everybody. I've had students, you can hear them talking in the hallway. They're having an argument with their significant other person in their life. And it's not nice. And it's very distracting. Now, if you do have a child care issue, some of you may be parents in this class, or you have a situation, let's say you have to pick somebody up at the airport or at the doctor's office, whatever, and you need to be in touch with them, okay, tell me before class, and that's okay. Then you can have your phone out, and if you need to walk out and, make the arrangements you need to make with them, that's understandable. I'm a parent, I'm a person, I understand we have these needs sometimes, and you guys are adults, and you might have some needs too, and that's okay. But just to go out because you want to deal with a phone call or something from your friend or to do some social media or something, no, do not do that. And that, of course, brings up cell phone use. Now, we're supposed to turn off our ringer on the cell phone when we get in the classroom. I often forget, and occasionally mine goes off. I mean, nobody really loves me, but I get a lot of scam calls, like many of you do, I'm sure. Okay, and if your ringer goes off, okay, it's not a big deal. Now, if it happens every 5 minutes, yeah, that's a big deal. So probably better if we all, including me, turn down the ringer. Also, let's not do texting and social media and shopping on our phones or on our laptops, anything like that. Let's just pay attention to the class. Now, a lot of times I'll have students look up words on their phones. Plus in our Comp 1 class, we do have computers. You can log into those. But again, use them only for class activity. That's a requirement. Let's not do social media. It's distracting to other students, and you yourself will not be able to pay attention all that well. I see it all the time. So be an adult. Another thing is, you got to think back to, I keep going back to when I was in school. You've probably heard that story 1,000 times from different adults in your life. But we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. When we were in the classroom, we were in the classroom. Okay, and whatever relate. Oops, hold on. I got to take that call. Hold on. My phone is here somewhere. Hold on for a second, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my wife. She's at the dentist and coming back. Let me go ahead and pause this recording. I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, excuse the interruption. Life happens as we were just talking about. Yeah, she was at the dentist. She had a checkup. It all came back good. At our age, listen, you guys at your age, probably most of your checkups come back pretty good. But at our age, you never know. I've had a few dental issues this year, but never mind all that. We're talking about cell phones. I think we're talking about cell phones. Yeah, just be an adult about it. There's an expression, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So whatever relationship issues you're having, believe it, it's really true that a little time out in relationships is really good. So an hour and 20 minutes is not too much to ask. Okay, enough editorializing about that. Sometimes I put on my dad hat. I've got 3 grown kids, and you still try to advise them, don't use your cell phone all the time, etc. Never mind. Okay, we're not supposed to eat in class, as you know, particularly these computer classrooms that have computers in them. If you're hungry, try to have a snack before class. Now, you can bring some water, some coffee, Coke, whatever, to drink something. I drink stuff too, even though technically we're not supposed to have it in there. Let's just be careful not to spill it. But I can't get through a class with not needing to drink something. I just do. And you can too, but let's not tell anybody that's what we're doing. So yes, you can bring something to drink in class. I'm sure there's some things in this syllabus that I probably should have talked about, but we'll probably encounter them as we go. The schedule is pretty, there's my office hour stuff again. The schedule is pretty pretty good, but there's going to be changes. You can see there, Orwell's a hanging there in week 1. Well, it's for us, it's going over into week 2, isn't it? And we'll be doing some other things. You can see in week 2, we've got the 2 Orwell essays, Shooting an Elephant and Marrakesh. These are the 3 Orwell essays we're going to be working on, taking a quiz on each one. And then we're going to be doing an essay on Orwell. That's going to be our first essay. So I'll have more to say on that later. But I'm not going to go through all of this. It's just, you can look at it. And the final thing I want to say about the syllabus is let's pay attention to the dates. There's the spring break dates, no classes, college closed. Last day to drop a class, the drop date, which I already mentioned, is 4/11. My cat is waking up. Oh my gosh. His tail might flash in front of the camera at any minute. Okay, buddy. Okay. Now he's laying down again. Okay. Final exams. That begins on Thursday, 5/2, the week, or almost a week of final exams. Goes through Wednesday, 5/8. For our class, our final exam is Monday, May 6th at 3:30. You have to take the final. If you can't make that date, you need to tell me ahead of time so we can make it another arrangement. The dean is pretty strict about rules about altering dates. We can't just do it any old date. In any case, so there's our syllabus. Let me know if you have questions. I am going to do another video on paragraphs. I don't know if I'm going to get it done. It's pretty late here on Friday, and I've got to do. I have another class on an ESCT on Monday, Wednesday. It's a Comp 2 class, and I need to do a syllabus discussion with them. And I think I'm already a little tired of syllabus stuff. I've been doing lots of administrative things all day. So, but if I don't get the paragraph discussion done tonight, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not going to be as long as this video, and I'll post it. Probably be about 20-minute discussion. Hopefully only 20-minute. But you do need to watch that one. That's going to be a springboard for a lot of our discussion of what makes a good essay. All right. All that being said, let me sign off for now. I look forward to meeting you in person on Monday, and I hope you all are having a good Friday and we'll have a good weekend. I'll talk to you all later.